Someone to take it. The Pistons, are they just good? Like, is this not about a team that's hot anymore? They've made the transition to being a good Eastern Conference NBA team that's going to be around. You're not going to sweat whether or not they're going to make the playoffs. You believe they're going to make the playoffs. Are they good? 248-539-9797. Gator, you think they're good, or do you think it's just a heater?
I mean, if I can, I'm going to say I got to wait. I don't believe in it just yet. And I think they will be good because I believe in the core and I believe in the coach and the GM. I think they've got the right people in place, and I think it still takes some time here. But I can't say that they've arrived at that point just yet. I want to see some more ball being played. We're just about the halfway point. I love what I've seen. You know, the fact that they've well surpassed their win total from all of last year, and they're not even halfway through the season here, is pretty great. But I need to see more because I feel like maybe this is just a heater. I want to be convinced otherwise, and I'm willing to watch. I mean, you know me and how I feel about basketball. Not the biggest basketball guy, but if the Pistons start playing well, I get interested. I texted you guys last night. I let out an audible, woo! Oh! One of those.
When Beasley hit the first three or the second three?
When Beasley hit the first three, I went, oh! And he hits the second one, and it was like, times 5 on that because that was a dagger. And it's been a while since we've seen that. How many times have we seen the Pistons play where they claw and scratch, get their way back into a game, and here they are, they're within 2, and the other team drains a 3 with like 8 seconds to go, and you're like, oh, come on. It's completely deflating. The Pistons did that to the Knicks last night. And the Knicks, they're not the Washington Generals. The Knicks are a good basketball team. 3rd in the conference. I love to see it.
No, the Knicks actually have championship aspirations. They went out and got Big Cat, and they obviously have Brunson, and they got Bridges. So, yeah, they're a legit threat in the East. And the question is, I don't know if the question is, are the Pistons a legit threat, but are they good, Doug? And I think maybe it's the scared bitch in me, but I just can't believe it yet. I just can't because I don't want to be burned again. I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be like, guys, they're good. Cade's an all-star. The young guys are developing. JB Bickerstaff is a great coach. And then all of a sudden they lose 8 out of 10. I'm like, what a fool I was, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm scared. So as of right now, I feel like they're just on a heater. Doesn't mean they're a bad team, but I can't get over the hump to say they're good yet.
You know? It's fair. I mean, it's okay to say I'm just waiting to see some more, because it isn't. This streak started, I believe. Well, I go back and look. This is only really over like 3.5, 4 weeks. I mean, it's not like this is a massive sample size of great basketball. It started Saturday, December 21st. So we're not even a month here. And yeah, I mean, there's some of these games in here are against some bad teams, but some of them are some good teams. Last night was a credible NBA win. And I feel like this is the kind of stuff where eventually they're going to start getting some talk outside of Detroit where people be like, this Piston team.
They actually are a little bit. Bobby Marks from ESPN, he tweeted out, the Detroit Pistons are the best story in the NBA right now.
There you go.
Yeah, you can't ignore Cade Cunningham of what he's doing, the numbers he's putting up. I think Birchie put up a stat earlier today about players in the NBA averaging 20 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds. And the list is 3 deep. It's LeBron, it's Jokic, and it's Cade Cunningham. I mean, you think about that, that's impressive company to keep. And it's amazing how consistent Cade has been night in and night out with putting up those numbers.
There's the data that I had cited that could support that Cade is turning into a superstar. And look, scoring 29 points in the second half with 4 fouls is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
248-539-9797. Steve in Detroit, you're on 97 on the ticket. Hi, Steve.
Hey, fellas. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
About the Pistons, the word, I don't want to use the word good. I just want to use the word respect. I think they're starting to get their respect now. I think Cade is starting to get his respect. Ever since he's gotten the league, he's been double teamed for his whole career since he's been here at the Pistons. And now I think he's really starting to get the respect of not just putting up the numbers, but also assisting his players as well. He's been able to cut down on some of the turnovers and just getting everybody else involved and whatnot. And I'm with you guys. I don't want to say good. I want to say respect. And I think it's long overdue for Cade because, like I said, the kid, all you had to do was just double team Cade in order to get the win, to beat the Pistons, and that was pretty much it. But yeah, I want to say the word is respect. Yeah.
So it's funny, Steve, because if you look at last night's game, for instance, okay, here are the Pistons, critical possession late in the game, and JB Bickerstaff talked about this in his post-game press conference. He loved that not only was it not Cade that had to make the kill shot, but Cade they ran a double team at him. He gives it up to Tim Hardaway, who then Tim Hardaway gives it the one more.
Tim Hardaway had an open shot, and he gave it up easily.
He gave up the one more, and it speaks a little bit to A, playing as a team to win a game, B, faith in your teammates. And Beasley's a fascinating case scenario, right? This is a 9-year pro.
I hate to keep bringing up the word respect. He respects his team players, and he trusts in them, and he's been through this long enough. Like I said, Cade's been double-teamed his whole career in the NBA. So he more or less had to either respect his team players in order to make that basket or trust them that they have to make that basket in order for him to make that pass because he's getting double-teamed. Because there have been times in his past years or whatnot where Cade would hesitantly pass the ball out of a double team because he was trying to, be more aggressive. But now he's becoming the trust and respect his team players and Bickerstaff. I got to respect Bickerstaff too as well. His offensive sets and his defensive sets as well. You got to give him his props too. And that's pretty much what I had. Thanks.
No, thank you. Appreciate the phone call. 248-539-9797.
And you, Doug, personally have to love Cade Cunningham because he's what people have been calling for a while now an ethical scorer. And what I mean by that is he doesn't foul hunt. He's not Trey Young like you can't stand. Jalen Brunson does a lot of that as well. Those guys that look for contact, actually, they don't even look for the basket. They're just looking to get a foul.
To get to the free throw.
Does Brunson look for contact? Watching last night, Jalen Duren's just like standing there playing great defense, and then Brunson's like bouncing off of him trying to draw the foul, and he
Cade's
did.
different. And Cade, he tries to just score like a normal person. You know what I mean? And if he gets fouled, he tries to fight through the contact.
I love the term ethical scorer.
Yes.
I want a shirt.
Yes.
Cade Cunningham, ethical scorer. Because there are some unethical guys out there that are bastardizing the game. Nobody wants to watch Trey Young shoot 19 free throws in a game.
Now, he still needs to get better with his turnovers. There's no question.
Yeah, he's got the ball in his hands a lot.
But he actually has this season, as the season has gone on. The first month, I think it was in 5 games, he was averaging 5.6 turnovers. The next month, it dropped down to 4.4. Then in January, it's 3.9, I should say. Or that's December, was 3.9, and now in January, it's 4.0. So he's dropped it by a full turnover per game. He's got more room to improve there, but at least it is an improvement. Once he gets that down, I look out.
So what's funny is the topic of Malik Beasley's come up, and Malik Beasley has been a real find for them. And really, this is a guy who earlier in his career on a bad Minnesota team that was one of the worst in the NBA. I always say this in the NBA, even on bad teams, there are some guys that have to take the shots. There are some guys that are going to go out there and score 20 in a game, and it doesn't mean they're any good. It just means they're taking the shots for the bad teams. And that's what I felt like Beasley was when he was in Minnesota and he averaged over 20 a game. This is one of his better seasons since then. It's like been 4 or 5 years. That was 4 or 5 years ago. And he looks, he fits in perfectly with this team. Absolutely perfectly with this team. And they've signed the right veterans, Hardaway and Beasley, to go with their young core.
And Harris too.
Yep. Yes. And these guys are really they're making plays, keep the confidence up, keep the rookies. They're not rookies anymore. But I'm laughing though, because remember last year Pistons got jobbed in the lottery, dropped to 4 and all that. But they got Ron Holland out of it. And it's way early with Ron Holland, but what he's doing at his age, at 18 years old, is unbelievable, really. And he's fitting in, and he looks like he's going to play a role on this team, let alone what he might be moving forward. If he turns into a star, I'd like to think that Tom Gores didn't waste the $60 million on Monty Williams because he paid for Monty Williams. It was terrible.
Right.
And because of that, they got another high draft pick and got Ron Holland out of it. That's what I hope happens for Tom Gores' sake, that we are celebrating that we have Ron Holland because of that one extra awful year that maybe didn't need to be. But because they were that bad, they got Ron Holland out of it.
Well, I think we all love a redemption story. And even when it comes to an ownership, you'd like to see that because Tom Gores has not instilled a ton of confidence in the Pistons fan base over the years since he took over the team. He made a splash, brought in Blake Griffin, right? And it was entertaining, it was fun, but that was not something that was going to be sustainable. And the moves since then have just been down the toilet. And what he did, look, he went out and he made an incredible offer, one that Monty couldn't refuse. Unfortunately, Monty's heart wasn't really in it, and it didn't work out. Okay, pivot again, suck up, eat the money, which is a tremendous amount of money to eat, and go out and try it again with new guys. And now it's starting to work, and I feel like Gores is starting to get that redemption story going, but it's a long way before Piston fans, I think, will really look at that guy and say, "You the man," because they instead look at some guy who's throwing T-shirts through a T-shirt cannon and showing up to 5 games a season, and they don't really see much. But I think I'm hopeful that he's going to get some credit when the season's all said and done. But the team has to continue playing at this pace.